Greetings, everybody. It's me, your friendly neighborhood Uncle Pete, and this is my series, Nails in a Coffin, where we learn that with great kills, there must also come great nails. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel. If you are new here, you can read what Nails in a Coffin is all about in the section down below, because these videos aren't film reviews, rather a breakdown of the kills, and evaluate how well that victim responded to their attack using my signature Nails in a Coffin rating system. I'm covering the Hills Have Eyes franchise, and we're up to the 2006 remake of Wes Craven's classic from 1977. Now, I've covered the original Hills Have Eyes and its sequel. Now, each of those films had an average nails in a coffin of 1.81 nails each, which is an average slightly higher than most of the other films I've covered. There weren't really too many stupid decisions in those movies. There were some, but not as much as other slashers. So, in this video, I'm going to break down the survival instincts using my Nails in a Coffin rating system. So the more nails they get, the smarter they were in the face of horror. So who made the right choices and who sealed their own fate? Let's go find out. Our first kill happens just at the 2-minute mark. There's a scientist in the desert taking readings with a Geiger counter. Suddenly, a bloody man appears asking for help, and when the scientist approaches this man, a pickaxe is put through his head, courtesy of Pluto. This unnamed scientist is the first to get nails this week, and he's going to get 2 nails in a coffin. Now, he didn't do anything foolish here. He was just doing his job when a bloody man startles him asking him for help. Then he was attacked from behind. He never knew what hit him, so he really didn't have much of a chance to do anything. And here on Nails in a Coffin, that typically is going to get you down the middle, 2 nails in the coffin. A few seconds later, Pluto kills another unaware scientist by impaling him in the back with the pitchfork. Yeah, just like the scientist before him, scientist number 2 is going to get 2 nails in a coffin. Never knew what hit him, didn't have any chance, and as you know, like I stated, those kills get a standard 2 nails in the coffin. The third scientist sees this and he decides to get the hell out of there ASAP, runs as fast as he can. He's about to climb on top of a hill to get away, but he's dragged back by Pluto and killed. Even though he was killed off screen, we'll still see enough where I can give him a nail rating, and he's going to get 2.5 nails in a coffin. Now, as soon as you saw the other guy get killed, he took off running and did not stop. He knew to get away fast, and now he just wasn't fast enough. He tried to do something and didn't freeze up and scream like you see in many slashers, and he really didn't make any foolish decisions here. He saw danger, he knew his only option was to run, and that's what he did. So he did better at both, which is why he's going to get 2.5 nails in a coffin. Our local gas station attendant Jeb is up next. Big Bob Carter, the family patriarch, just returned to the gas station in hopes of somehow getting a tow truck for his vehicle. The gas station's empty and he tries to pay for him, but of course it's not going to work. And he finds all kinds of shady evidence around the gas station, like money, jewelry, and actually an ear in a to-go box. Well, this caused him to put his hand on his sidearm, which is understandable. He continues his search, but then we get some exposition when we see his newspaper clippings on the wall about nuclear testing, along with some photos of deformed individuals as a result of said testing. So he goes outside and finds a vehicle with the keys in it. He tries to start the car, but the engine won't turn over. But the headlights come on and illuminate an outhouse where Bob hears Jeb calling for help. Bob opens the door to the outhouse and Jeb is there looking very solemn. He's holding a shotgun saying he did the best he could. But Bob tells Jeb to put the weapon down, but then Jeb puts the shotgun under his chin and blows his head off. Here on Nails in a Coffin, I typically don't rate when somebody unalives themselves in a movie. You know, if it was a sacrifice to save others, that's one thing, but that wasn't the case here. So these, unalivings are kind of hard to rate. So I normally pass over them and not give them a rating. So after Bob sees Jeb's unaliving, he hears Jupiter calling out Daddy. Bob fires his pistol into the darkness a few times, tries to seek refuge in a car, but once he gets in, he's attacked by Jupiter, who is in the back seat. Typical horror trope. He gets his head smashed around by Jupiter, and then we see Big Bob being dragged off into a mine shaft. Later on that night, Bobby wakes up Doug and Lynn to tell him that people are living in the hills. He's hearing things. Meanwhile, Pluto is in the RV about to assault Brenda. So he makes a call on the handheld radio, and suddenly there's an explosion, and we see Bob tied to a tree, which is now engulfed in flames. The family rushes to save their father, but it's too late, and everybody has to watch as Big Bob burns to death. Big Bob Carter earned himself 2.5 nails in the coffin. Other than taking a shortcut, I don't feel that Bob made any foolish decisions here that kind of aided in his demise. He was the protector for his family. Love that he had a pistol on him. Now, he did shoot into empty spaces. That wasn't the smartest thing to do, but given the situation. True, he didn't check the back seat, but also he was more focused on getting away from that area. And the way that he was killed, being burnt to death, which is probably got to be one of the most painful ways to die. This one just feels like 2.5 nails in a coffin because I think he did a pretty decent job. Then we go back to the RV where Lizard is assaulting Lynn while he points a gun at the baby. Ethel walks in. She's about to attack, but she gets shot by Lizard right in the chest. Ethel does die a little later on in the film as a result of her wounds, but I'm still going to give her a nail rating now. And I'm going to give her 2.5 nails in a coffin. I couldn't imagine what Ethel was going through. She just watched her husband burn to death, and she walks into the RV and witnessing that horror. But she did compose herself quickly, and she was going to go for Lizard for an attack. She just got shot first. She was a brave woman, and she did very well when you consider her current predicament, which is why I'm going to give her 2.5 nails in the coffin. Brenda is screaming, and Lizard is about to shoot her, but Lynn grabs a screwdriver, stabs Lizard in the leg, twisting it around. But then he does point the gun at her, shooting in her head, killing her instantly. Just like in the original Hills Have Eyes, I'm going to award Lynn 3 nails in a coffin. She just endured an unimaginable horror experience. And when she had the opportunity to attack, she did. She was protecting Brenda and her baby, and she did way better than most victims I've actually covered on Nails in a Coffin. She didn't hesitate when she had an opening, and yeah, she did die, but she died protecting others. And in my book of nails, that's going to earn you at least 3 nails in the coffin. A few moments later, we're introduced to Goggle looking over the carnage with his binos. He hears something behind him, but he didn't see anything there, till the good doggy Beast shows up and tears into his neck, killing the mutant hill person. Just like I gave Mercury's death in the original, I'm going to give Goggle 1.5 nails in a coffin. I feel like he didn't even try and push Beast off of him. He had arms and just never used them. Even if he did try and push Beast off, he most likely would have died anyways, but I could have given him more nails in a coffin if he tried, but it doesn't look like he did. It was a surprise attack by the good boy Beast, which is why he barely ekes out that extra half a nail. So, yeah, he's only going to get 1.5 nails in the coffin. The following morning, Doug leaves Bobby and Brenda in the RV, and he goes to go get his baby. He and Beast are traveling across the desert to find where the hill people are keeping his child. They do find an entrance to an abandoned mine, and they venture in. Doug comes out at the other side of the tunnel, and he finds a deserted town, home to our mutant hill people. While hiding behind a car, Doug sees Sist walk out one of the homes, so he knows that's where he should check. When the coast is clear, he stealthily goes back inside to see if his child's in there. He sees a woman watching TV sitting in a rocking chair, and he's able to sneak past her, and he does find his baby on a bed in one of the rooms. And while Doug is trying to escape with his child, he's knocked unconscious by the woman in the house. Then we see Doug waking up in a large cabinet stored with multiple dead bodies, and after a few hits, he is able to bust his way out. Doug arms himself with the bat, and he finds Big Brain, a very unsettling person to look at. We ask him where his baby is. Big Brain doesn't tell him, but he does tell him, it's breakfast time. And Pluto bursts into the room and goes for Doug, and Pluto just beats the ever-living hell out of Doug. The guy gets through multiple walls, tossed around like he's nothing, and he even gets some fingers chopped off at one point. Pluto gets Doug down on the floor, and he's holding an axe to his neck, and Doug begins begging for his life, which gives Big Brain and Pluto a laugh. Doug uses his opportunity to stab Pluto through the foot with the screwdriver. Pluto screams in pain, which allows Doug to go pick up a small flag, and he stabs Pluto right through the neck with it. Pluto is then choking, and Doug picks up the axe and slams it into the top of Pluto's head. Pluto earns himself 1.5 nails in a coffin. He made that typical horror trope killer mistake where you wait to kill someone so you could take time to laugh, gloat, grandstand, you know what I mean. But this always gives the victim a chance to prevent their own death, and this waste of time turned out to be a grave mistake for Mr. Pluto, which is why he's only going to get 1.5 nails in a coffin, just earning that extra half a nail since he was kind of tough to take down. We then jump outside and see Sist running towards the house. Right before he gets to the front door, Doug hits him in the knee with Pluto's axe. He then slams the axe into Sist's back, making sure he twists it as well. When he removes the axe, Sist falls to the ground. He looks up at Doug, and his fate is now sealed, because with one final swing, Doug impales Sist in the face with the spike. I guess the Sist was popped, and he's awarded also 1.5 nails in a coffin. Not too much to go on here. I mean, he ran into Doug with the axe and was hit before he could do anything. I just don't see giving him more than 1.5 nails. He didn't do anything inherently stupid, but he was far from innocent here in this situation. He really just, it was kind of tough to take down, which is why he avoids getting 1 nail in the coffin. But yeah, he's still a disgusting mutant creature, so there's no way I'm going to be able to give him more than 1.5 nails in the coffin. Next we got Big Brain. He's laughing in his chair, unaware of Beast, who's growling and snarling nearby. once he notices it's too late and the good boy mauls the mutant to death. Big Brain gets one nail in the coffin. Now, it's true he couldn't do anything really to protect himself. I mean, he was stuck in a chair and immobile. But I trust the instincts of a dog. Beast had his reasons, and I'm going to stand by them 100%. He probably sensed Big Brain was stupid and would have done something stupid anyways. So, granted, he was the most vulnerable, but because the good doggy, I'm going to trust his intuition, and for that reason alone, I'm only going to give Big Brain one nail in the coffin. Getting close to the end here, Doug has chased Ruby to the top of a mountain. She has his baby. She was actually saving the baby from Lizard. So suddenly Lizard appears behind and attacks Doug, and the two start a fight of their lives while Ruby is protecting the child. Lizard is beating the hell out of Doug, who does get a few good shots in on the mutant, but Lizard has his razor rope whip thing that he's using to slash Doug. He nails Doug in the face, and he knocks the man in the dirt. Lizard gets on top of Doug, and he's smashing his head into the ground. But he stops to chase after Ruby, who runs atop of the mountain further with the baby. Lizard is about to grab Ruby, but Doug got his ass back up and he nails Lizard with the shotgun right in the face, smashing him. He then proceeds to beat the crap out of the hill person, slamming him in the face multiple times with the butt of the shotgun. He's actually able to get 3 shots off from the shotgun into Lizard, who does eventually stop moving, but Doug goes over to check the body, kicking Lizard to make sure he's dead. Ruby gives the baby to Doug, and father is reunited with his daughter, and he's just soaking in the moment. He doesn't see Lizard, however, getting up, now holding the shotgun, pointing it at them. Ruby sees this, and she charges at Lizard, spearing him off the top of the mountain to the rocks down below, sacrificing herself to save Doug and baby Catherine. Doug then walks over to see the results of Ruby's sacrifice. Lizard, that scumbag, gets one nail in the coffin. He made a grave mistake when he didn't finish killing Doug earlier. There was no reason for him to stop at that point. It wouldn't have taken much longer to kill Doug. Then Lizard could have gone after Ruby and the baby, because there wasn't really too many places where they could hide, because he was going to catch her. But I'll give him credit because he was a tough son of a bitch to keep down. However, he was foolish and downright stupid with this, however common horror trope where you don't kill the person, you go run off to do something else for dumb reasons. So yeah, for all those reasons, he really messed up bad here. So he's only going to get one nail in the coffin. Now it's Ruby's turn, and she's awarded 3.5 nails in the coffin. I know that seems high, but she sacrificed herself to save Doug and Catherine, and she was always trying to protect Catherine. She even showed compassion for Bobby earlier on in the film. She was surely dealt a crappy hand in life being born into this inbred mutant hill people clan. It takes a lot of guts to do what she did. Normally I don't rate, like I said earlier in the video, when a victim unalives themselves. But when the victim does so in an effort to save others, that type of sacrifice, it deserves some extra special recognition. Split-second decision, you're going to end your life to save others. Yeah, so this is easily one of the best kills in the movie. Unfortunate death, I should say, for Ruby. Great kill for Lizard, earning herself 3.5 nails in the coffin. Now, a little earlier in the film, Bobby and Brenda set up a trap in the RV for Papa Jupiter. Just like in the original, they rig it to explode using propane tanks and matches. The siblings climb out of the back of the RV while Papa Jupiter goes for the door. The trap works, and when he opens the door to the RV, it explodes. Bobby and Brenda go to survey the wreckage to ensure that Papa Jupe was dead. They find him impaled and burnt on some of the debris. The leader of the hill people starts laughing at Bobby, but that's when Brenda runs up and slams the spike of an axe right into Jupiter's head. Papa Jupiter gets the final set of nails for the Hills Have Eyes remake, and he is bestowed upon with 1.5 nails in a coffin. Now, we don't see a lot of Papa Jupiter in the film, pretty much just at the end and in the beginning when he attacked Bob. He was a tough SOB after getting blown up and impaled on some debris. He was still kicking and trying to get Bobby and Brenda. Lucky for everyone, Brenda ended the mutant leader's life in an awesome way. I can't justify giving more than 1.5 nails since he was the reason behind all this. And also, if he wasn't so determined to get Bobby and Brenda, he could have stayed hidden and survived. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. Those are all my nails in the coffin for the Hills Have Eyes remake. Here's a summary of all the nails I've awarded. And here's your all average for The Hills Have Eyes, which is 2 nails in a coffin. Definitely on the highest end of all the films I've covered, so pretty good average here. It's higher than the first 2 films, which both had an average of 1.81 nails. Now, looking back at the kills, most of these people were innocent victims with no chance to defend themselves. So they got 2 nails in a coffin, and the Carter family did all pretty well in this film. They were pretty good. So, and 2 of the standouts, of course, were Lynn and Ruby, both getting 3 nails or higher. A few weeks ago, I started a new award for my nails in a coffin, the standout of the movie, the Golden Hammer Award. It could be for somebody who survives or actually gets killed. So, first off, special shout out to Beast, that good dog. I have to give the Golden Hammer Award to Doug. This dude took a hell of a beating. He was thrown through walls, beat to hell, fingers chopped off. He's surely concussed and has got a bunch of broken ribs and stuff. He went through hell to get his baby back. He lost his wife and her parents in horrific ways. But this was a determined guy. In the beginning of the film, you think he's going to be one of those nerdy characters, but he really stepped up to the plate and was by far the standout of this movie, earning himself the Golden Hammer Award. I actually like this remake. It had some great moments that, they hit those key moments of the original. It just kind of moved it into modern times. So enjoy remakes like this one where it's close in plot to the original. It hits all those key points while giving us a fresh update. And that's exactly what this was. This movie was a fresh update on a 1977 classic. Pretty well done. If I had to rank like the top 10 horror remakes of all time, I think The Hills Have Eyes remake would definitely be in that top 10. It's a pretty good flick and a very solid remake. So, thanks for watching, everybody. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe, all that usual stuff. And I'll see you here in 2 weeks when I cover The Hills Have Eyes Part 2 remake. I've only watched that one time from what I remember. I think it was pretty decent, but we'll see how those goes. I haven't seen it in a long time, so we'll find out in 2 weeks how all those victims fare with my nails in a coffin. Until then, take care, stay safe, be good to yourselves, and be good to each other. Remember, with great kills, there must also come great nails.